Welcome back to Y'all Hate Sports, Part 8, NIL. We're in the thick of March Madness, so I figure it'd be a good as time as ever to talk about this. NIL stands for Name, Image, and Likeness. Established in June of 2021 by the NCAA, is the one thing that is going to change how we view all college sports for at least the next decade. All can talk with me. It's funny because college athletes have wanted this for a hot minute now, and now that they got it, it's probably the one thing that is preventing them from ever actually wanting to go pro. Like, no joke. There are now college athletes that are self aware of their ceilings and are using this to adjust accordingly while still getting a bag off of what they do. And trust me, colleges are still giving out bags to anybody and everybody nowadays. There are many fascinating factors that go into NIL. So in today's video, we're going to break down the pros and the cons of NIL, starting with the pros. For starters, college athletes are finally being paid. Something that many wanted to be a reality before with star-studded teams of the past. Like, I can only imagine the brand deals that the Fab Five or that Miami U team will have brung in. The money is funneled through brand deals and other potential money ventures. It's not all for just the player, which actually brings me to my second point. People have used NIL to help GoFundMe pages and charities raise a goal off of their name. It is now a source of income for a family that needs it. This now means there's more involvement with the child at home that's serious about playing whatever sport they currently play at high school level now. Point 3. Colleges are more aggressive than ever in their commitment tactics and recruiting tactics to get that 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Big name schools were already locked in when it came to recruiting at an early age, but none of that matters now. It's about who can throw the bigger bag at the college athlete first. And my final point, NIL generates name and fame for these athletes. Something that other companies now take advantage of if the sport the athlete plays in doesn't work out. Prime example of this is WWE's incorporation of NIL athletes. They have a whole performance center to mold the wrestler of the future, and one has already become a champion in the 2 years they started wrestling. Notable athletes like Gable Steveson and the Carpenter twins have already signed with WWE on NIL deals for a potential run as wrestlers in the future. So why would NIL be such a bad thing if it's generating this much good? Transfers. So many transfers. The transfer portal is the biggest it's ever been across all sports, with over 2,000 athletes just in college football alone this past year. I mean, you would be stupid not to take the best deal on the table, but the problem is that deal typically comes from a team in the SEC or the Big Ten. No Sun Belt team or even ACC team is keeping up with that. We've already seen a conference titan in the Big 12 go down because they simply just can't keep up with the money that keeps flowing in for these athletes. To my second con point, there will be less and less options in the coming years for college athletes. Unless you're attending an HBCU, the two conferences that will most likely be the only two left standing by, we'll say, 2035, is the SEC and the Big Ten. That's because they offer the best deals and they have the most money to work with. Smaller conferences will simply not be able to keep up and is already had a trickle effect on the industry. On to my third con point. There was, is, and always will be recruitment violations. I mean, for goodness sake, you have these kids getting some sloppy top under the table from the college recruiter advisor just so they can pick their school. You can probably imagine the money that schools are funneling into these kids under the table as well. And that's not entirely bad for the athlete, but for the school, that is a big and clear no-no. Which leads me to my final con point. Less options and the desire to make more money has made legends in the game question whether or not these kids are doing this because they love the game or if they're doing it because they're just looking for a bag for their family. Make no mistake, Nick Saban, Roy Williams, Coach K, Jim Bonham have all retired within the last 3 years, and NIL is a big reason because of it. And all these coaches are the guys that have shaped what we all view as college football and college basketball for the last 30 years. There's truly a new era in college sports that some cannot just adjust to what I think are valid reasons. Look, in my personal opinion, is NIL worth the controversy it brings? Yeah, I think so. The pressure to succeed now, especially in this economy, is gigantic. And I think my generation especially puts a big weight on our shoulders to provide not only for our family, but friends, but also we have a point to prove. We gotta make a name for ourselves. When you commit to something and put the work behind it, whether people see that work come to fruition or not, that's time you'll never get back. And that's hours upon hours of training that most Twitter trolls will never see. So even down to the complete bums that play, they have a chance at redemption. A chance at a life outside of football or basketball or soccer or whatever sport one day. And it's thanks to NIL. Overall, what are your thoughts on it? I know, we need more cashiers at Dollar Tree and more bartenders at bars, but NIL's the future, man. College athletes making money for the love of sports is the future. Y'all Hate Sports was made to point out what makes casual and hardcore fans tick, and it seems more and more the gap between players and fans are split further apart. So I'm excited to see what y'all think about this. That's all I got for this week. My name is Billy Cameron, and get your popcorn ready for the next part of Y'all Hate Sports.